Hello, my name is Diana Castro and you're watching Leaders with a Mission. And today I have someone really special who I would like for you to meet. Her name is Alex Kontos. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Alex is a licensed health insurance agent with U.S. Health Advisors. She is a provider of hope, opportunity, and peace of mind. She's a wealth of information with the heart of a teacher that enjoys to empower other people to claim their power and get the health coverage they need and deserve at an affordable rate. And with you, Alex. Thank you for being here, love.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
And I want to talk to you because you have a really awesome story, and I know that part of what you do is reflective of your journey. So for the people who don't know you, you are a former attorney.
Yes.
Who upgraded your life
I love that.
to joy and happiness and to things that, bring you the best life that you want for yourself. And because it's not in somebody else's terms of success, it is on your own terms. Can you tell me a little bit about your story and how you landed to now do, health empowerment, basically, allowing people the opportunity to get good coverage for themselves?
Sure. So if you asked me, years ago, how would I be passionate about selling health insurance, I would have said no way. I would have never done this. There would not be a dollar amount that you could pay me to do what I do right now. And, at that time I was a lawyer. I practiced law for about 8 years. And I really wasn't a happy lawyer. I didn't know it at the time, but I was very unfulfilled in that career. I was very burned out. And the burnout really came from owning a very successful law firm, an all-women law firm, 40 employees, 2 office locations. I had my girls who are now 10, 7, they were little, they were babies. And what came with that was some fulfillment in the fact that we're making a difference. We were helping families save their homes from foreclosure. So it was good work. And my role was really helping people understand the process, be patient, hold their hand, and I hated to say it, but sometimes I had to break the bad news. That was usually my role. And I got very, very burned out. It was a very fast growing industry, and then it kind of took a downturn, and I just didn't want to practice anymore. So I sold the book of business and got divorced in the same year.
Yay!
Yay!
Talk about transitions.
Yeah. And I was always very bright-eyed about oh, this is no problem, I'll figure it out. But at the time I was oh, now I have a 1-income household and I have these 2 kids and I don't have the, that steady income that I had. So I hit a little bit of a rough patch. And it was more like an internal rough patch of really not, like you said, not being fulfilled, but feeling like I was almost handcuffed to this career that I had invested so much time and energy and blood, sweat, and tears. And, and to some extent, I felt that it had caused a little bit of disruption in my family life that led to the divorce and whatnot. So I was holding on for dear life and resenting it at the same time. So what happened was I had to go through a couple of years of that rough, facing myself in the mirror and saying, okay, what is it that really matters to you, Alex? What do you really want to do? Because at the time, the universe would have it, I wasn't even making money anymore. So then I couldn't even pay the bills and I wasn't happy. So I'm okay, so I guess this is the point where I'll do anything if that's the message here. And when I finally got out of my own way and got really clear on my values, which was I want to be a mom to these kids. I want to have unlimited income. I don't want somebody paying me a steady paycheck every single week. I want to know that if I work a little bit harder, it'll be reflected in my bank account. That was really important to me. And not so much for the money itself, but because I was impacting more people. And I would be able to provide for my family at the level where I would feel oh, all that hard work was actually worth it.
Yeah.
And so now it's, I feel super blessed. I work my butt off. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but it's so fulfilling. I help people every single day with their health insurance. And I think why I love it so much is because I'm making an impact in an industry that is kind of a mess. And that's important to me. I'm making a change. I tell myself, I have a little Post-it note that I have written on my mirror, and it says, I help solve one of the biggest problems in the United States, if not the world, and that is access to affordable healthcare. Because at some level I do that, even if it's a one-by-one conversation or in doing these videos and, influencing someone on social media. So that's where we're at.
It's so nice that you actually got to, even through a breakdown, you got to a breakthrough in your life. Like you actually got to, I remember we were talking about this one time, actually when we were doing the video, and I was like, isn't it funny how you're asking the universe, I want change, I want to feel happy. And I was just like, okay, you're not gonna like the process, but the outcome will be what you want. So that takes guts and leadership for me. And I see the way you conduct your business of healthcare, influencing how people have access to information so they can make an informed decision, is different from even other health advisors. Like you don't take leads the same way like the vast majority of them do. You do things differently. What is your definition of leadership? Because you have a really different way of looking at things.
One of the most important things about leadership to me, it starts with self-awareness, being self-aware. And I got to the point when nothing else worked, that I had to just get, like I said, to my values, to what's important to me. Who am I? How am I going to succeed? What are what's the situation? What's the environment? Who are the people? What is all of the, how can I set myself up to win? Because I wasn't about to fail again. I had felt like I failed already before. And so I think leadership is about getting to know leading yourself, because you can't lead anybody else if you're not leading yourself. And that's a work in progress. Every day I look at myself and I'm like, how can I be a little bit better? How can I be 1% better than I was yesterday? And sometimes, and I know this happens, that I talk to girlfriends about this, we as women will end up wanting to be better, we'll end up comparing ourselves. And I read this quote the other day, said, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's true, because I got chills as I said that. It must have been good. So, but I think leadership is knowing who you are, and doing you, and making your life, everything about your life, all the actions you take in your life, how you go to the gym in the morning, how you wake up, whether you press snooze or, whether you get right up and, do push-ups, how you mother your kids, how you lead your people, how you show up for people to help them, how do you go the extra mile? All of that it starts with leadership, starts with like leading yourself in the daily habits and the daily tasks. And that's what makes up your life. And hopefully that inspires other people to follow you.
Yeah. So I know that part of what you do is, provide information for people so they can get better health coverage at a better rate. But you also do team building.
Right.
And that's also another way where you actually lead. What sources, where do you get your inspiration to become a better leader?
So that's a great question. I fill my mind with positivity and with mentorship. And mentorship, I've always been a big believer in having mentors and coaches. And at every level of my life, even when I was broke, I had virtual coaches, and I would listen to podcasts and people that I respect and admired, because what you feed your mind is what's going to come out. Just like with the food you eat, it's going to show in your body. It's going to show in how you feel. It's the same thing. And so I don't watch television. The TV doesn't, if the kids are not at my house, the TV does not go on. I didn't know how to turn it on for the Super Bowl. Let's just say that. And because I just don't find a lot of like positivity and things that are going to make me better on TV. So I read books, I listen to podcasts, I have coaches, and I surround myself with people who I want to be more like them, who I look at them and I admire them and I pick their brains. That's something that I'll never stop doing.
What is your number one book that you would say people have to read this book?
I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, that guy. Yes.
Yeah. And I've been following him for years through podcasts, and what I liked about him is that he really makes you own your stuff. And it's like, take responsibility for your life. Everything's your fault. and that sounds kind of negative, but it's not. It's about taking personal responsibility and setting yourself free. And one of like the book that stands out the most to me is I believe it's his newest one called Crushing It. Yes. And it's actually where he like uses examples and case studies of people who have like really created a lot of influence in their industries by building their personal brand. And that's something that I really am committed to doing, which is how I got, connected with you and invested in this, and so that he's been a huge influence in my life.
That's pretty cool. So what have you struggled with in this journey of leadership? What has been one of your biggest struggles?
So my biggest, I would say, and something that I'm dealing with right now, is understanding that not everybody is like me. Like I was always someone that was super motivated. I sold books door to door in college. I worked, 80-hour weeks knocking on doors in Arizona to make commission. Like there's something about me that you could say is a little weird, but it's not normal, but that's what drives me and makes me feel alive, is that like, that it's all on me type of thing. That's when I thrive. And that's been tough because I realized that you can't want something for somebody more than they want it for themselves. And it's honestly the same with health coverage. So sometimes I believe that that this is what they need. This is a plan that really will fit them, that'll protect them in the event of something unexpected, but also save them. But if they don't see that, if they don't value that, then they're not your client. And so the way I would transition that into the leadership role and leading leading new agents and doing this is I've got to understand their why, make sure they have one, and help them get clear on that first. That's where it starts. And then I can really, try to remind them about why they're doing what they're doing, why they want to succeed, what's important to them, and then they kind of allow them to rise. And it's easier said than done.
I'm sure. So what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Like, how do you want to be remembered?
I'm very passionate about women in particular. I was raised by a single mom, and my mom worked always, like she worked hard, but at a regular job. She wasn't an entrepreneur, and kind of only just like, never may have not really achieved what she wanted to achieve in her life. And so for me, I feel like I really want to inspire other women to know that anything is possible, that they can have it all. They can be the mother that they've always wanted to be, not always the perfect mother, but the mother that they've always wanted to be, that their children will, love and value, and that creates, helps influence these beings that we brought into the world. And you can also have the financial success, and that the sky's the limit. And really, like, the other thing too is that it's never too late to reinvent yourself, or as you said it so beautifully, and I think I have to change my bio now, is it's never too late to upgrade your life.
Yeah, and I think that's important because a lot of people, and I am going to like confess something. I remember when you transition from attorney to like health advisor, I was like, but I saw her as this really badass, successful attorney. Like, what she did this for? And at the beginning, it was like that. And then I kind of catch myself doing that. And I was like, you have no idea of the backstory. And we're so quick to jump into conclusions. When at the end, if somebody decided to live this, or whatever we put this like glittery unicorn, magical, I don't know what, to something that now I see her happier, she must have upgraded her life. And
it chills.
It does change the energy around how you see people with love and compassion. And also it changes perspective on how you can help elevate them wherever they are.
That's so great. Beautifully stated.
I'm just so happy that you are now in a position where you get to make an impact in something that you're passionate about and allow people the opportunity to grow that as well. So thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. And that meant so much to me that you said that, because we've known each other for some time. So
yes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time of coming over and for trusting us to do your videos with us. I do want people to know where to find you because I think you'll make a big impact in their lives. So where can they find you?
Sure. So, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate this. So you can find me on Facebook, Alexandra Kontos on Facebook, and I also have a business page. I'm all over Facebook. It's my thing. Also on Instagram, it's Alex_the health agent altogether. And also on my website, alexandrakontos.com.
Beautiful. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And for those people who are looking to position their brand as leaders in their industry, I invite you to visit us at 4productions.com, where if you subscribe, you're going to find more amazing information on how to build your business through the power and influence of video. Until next time.